Hi, I'm Aaron,
And I'm Jay.
and you're listening to episode 76 of the Salty Mother Clutchers podcast.
My name is Ian. I've been riding since 2007, and most of the time I'm on a 2015 Royal Enfield Continental 535.
Most of the time. And what are
Most of the
What are
time.
you doing the rest of the time?
If I'm lucky and I've actually put it back together in a way that it works, I'm on a 77 Yamaha XS650.
All
Oh,
right.
shit. Classic.
Or I could be out warming up my wife's 96 Suzuki Savage 650.
Ooh, we love those.
Yeah, I know. It's we bought the Enfield for her,
Yeah.
fresh out of the showroom, and she rode it for like 4 weeks and hated the Enfield, hated the sport. Like, she did not like being in a sport position at all.
Yeah.
So she pretended she was going to ride it for another year, and then I was planning on going on a trip, and I was going to have to do something about being able to ride it. Anyway, she ended up giving me the Enfield because I wanted to get another Enfield, and she hated hers. So that became mine, and then the hunt was on for something, and we found this kind of a matte olive drab Suzuki that had been really just badge deleted everywhere, not far from here. So we went out and we picked up that for her, and it's what she wanted the whole time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And then you got a brand new bike.
Yeah, pretty much. And then shortly I found out that she was right, that position really sucks for long rides.
So I'm picturing the bike, but I'm a little unclear on the position. So you're saying it's more like a sport riding, like you're leaning ahead on the Enfield?
Yeah. It's kind of got rear sets on it and clip-on handlebars. So it is a really kind of a sport position. And it's got the geometry of a lot of sport bikes, like the rake trail and the wheelbase are all
Okay.
very aggressive, but it makes no power at all.
Right. Okay.
There's a company over in England called Hitchcock's that sells a lot of aftermarket stuff to tune them up, and they always show the dyno curve like before and after, and the before rarely peaks above 18 horsepower at the rear wheel.
Whoa.
And what is it? Is it a twin?
No, it's a single.
It's the Royal Enfield's a single?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. So you're both on
Yeah.
singles then?
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's technically no, it's not very cool, but I think it's cool because I really like singles. It's like,
Yeah.
there's just way less to break.
And that's important because I'm a terrible mechanic.
I've seen the hashtags on all of your posts, like hashtag worst mechanic, on like everything that you post.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't want to get too big for my britches. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm the cat's ass just because I managed to put 2 wires together.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
So-
having 2 wires to put together and not like 40 wires makes a big difference. So
It does. And actually, with the reason I say, like, if I've managed to put the 77 back in a way that it works, it's because this summer was the second time I've rewired that bike.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What has to be wired on it? Isn't it? It's like a kickstart usually, right? The XS.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what's the wiring for? Is it just to run the lights and stuff, or what?
Yeah, pretty much. So, like, when I picked that one up, the previous guy had it switched over so that the on-off switch was like right underneath your butt, and it was just like a big flip switch off on, and then the signal lights, there was it was a latching button with like forward, middle, back, and that was right underneath your right thigh, and that was your blinkers.
What?
So you
Yeah.
bought a gremlin bike.
Oh, did I
Yeah.
ever?
Like this, like
Well, I mean,
once someone's like been fucking around, you're like, oh. how many problems am I gonna have with this bike? And then your heart says, get the bike. Just get
Like,
the bike.
Yeah.
The XS650 is like such a classic chopper bike. Like that's
Mhm.
like the people seek them out, they find them, and then they fucking destroy them. It's like
Yeah.
it's similar like when people are looking for like old Honda CB750s and stuff, like a 4 inline, and
Mhm.
they get them. The only difference is the people with the CBs try to restore them,
Yeah.
whereas the
Yeah.
the XS
Yeah.
650 guys usually just chop them or do something nasty to them. But
Yeah.
they are really
And
fun, and for that reason, there's a lot of like tutorials on how to get this stuff going again.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I like about it. And it's all super accessible. Like when you're setting the valves and everything, it's just like a couple of screws. You don't have to take anything off to get in
Mhm.
there.
Mm.
Yeah, that is a like major plus. That's on a lot of
Yeah.
the older bikes in general. I'm not sure what the Enfield's like to work on, but like a lot of older bikes, everything is just a little more available. Like it was meant to be worked on.
The Enfield's a really weird cat because it's fuel injected,
Mhm.
and it still has the kickstart lever on there.
Hmm.
So you can kick it over, but it's meant to be like a normal 2015 sort of thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so I don't know why I've had this like weird fascination with Royal Enfields. I know, very little about them other than they look fucking sweet. Like I
Mhm.
just fucking love the look of every fucking one of them. And I'm a big lover of smaller engines.
Mhm.
Like I just
Yeah.
you've listened to the podcast, we complain about it all the time. People just getting like bigger bikes, bigger engines, and I can't figure out why. One time, a friend of mine was at like a local shop, and we don't really see them over here very much at all. You guys have
Mhm.
you have a dealer in Nova Scotia?
Not no more.
Okay, so one of my friends saw this Royal Enfield at the shop. I think it was like dropped off for inspection or something like that. And she said to me, "Okay, I got bad news about your Royal Enfield dreams." And I said, "What?" And she was like, You're too big." And that
What?
was pretty much it. It was like, "You're too big. It's gonna look like you're on a clown bike. It's way too
Oh
small.
God.
It's way too small for
Oh.
you." And I don't know. I don't know if this like I just feel like this doesn't really work in anyone's favor, like telling someone that they're just too big. Like
Here's the thing.
I don't
How
know.
many people on motorcycles do you already think look like clowns?
A
Come
lot.
on.
So
Yeah.
so I guess like I haven't really seen like any Royal Enfields in person, which is weird to like really like a bike that you've never actually seen before. But like,
Mhm.
can you explain like what would be like a comparison? Like how physically big is this bike?
So I've got the cafe racer wannabe style.
Yeah, I know the one.
So yeah. So I've got about a 30-inch inseam, and I can just like barely toe touch,
Okay.
or I can get comfortably flat foot if I keep the other foot on the peg.
Oh,
Um
that's
yeah,
actually that's actually higher than I imagined.
yeah, it's a lot taller, and that's a lot of what my wife hated
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
I would say from when we sat on the more like the World War II dispatch style bike, like the Bullets,
Yeah.
I would say those are probably more comparable to the Savage.
Okay.
Mhm.
But I think they're a little bit more mid control, where the Savage is pretty front.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a small looking bike, but it doesn't
Yeah.
look like a mini bike. Cuz
Yeah, no, it's not like a Grom or
right,
something.
right. Like I feel like it looks like a motorcycle. Like
Yeah.
it looks like a fucking motorcycle that adults can go on.
Yeah. No, there's no problem that way. Like, so I got a friend who parks his Triumphs in my garage for the winter,
Mhm.
and it's pretty comparable to a Bonnie or a Thruxton. Like,
Okay.
it's not teeny weeny,
Yeah, okay.
except in the power department.
Yeah, okay. In the power department.
Mhm.
So you just went with some friends to the Cabot Trail and
Yes.
you're in Nova Scotia where? Where are you?
I'm in the valley. I'm in Kentville.
Okay, so you rode your not so powerful Royal Enfield all the way to Cape Breton. Please tell me you didn't trailer it. You trailered it.
I did. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I did
okay.
this year.
Wait, did you just like trail it to the top of the hill and then just ride it down the hill?
No, we trailered up to Cheticamp,
Okay.
and we go around from there.
Okay, so you did the whole trail though.
Yeah. Now the first year I did ride all the way from Kentville.
Yeah.
And I blazed up every back road from Kentville, down the number 1 to around Halifax area.
Yeah.
And then across every cross country road, stopping in Westville for pizza because I grew up in Pictou County, so I have to have Pictou County pizza.
Yep.
And then I just burned all the way up, and I think we met in. I lined up with them in Ald's Cove. And we linked up and we went around the counterclockwise way over the top, came back to Cheticamp for the night. So I put on like 800 kilometers that first day.
Yep.
And then the next morning it started raining on us, and we did the whole clockwise loop, raining the entire way.
I've done that
and it
so many times.
And it was still absolutely the best.
Okay, so you trailered this time, and there were how many bikes went?
Let me think. So I was on the Enfield. John was on his, I think it's an 85 GPZ 750. Jimmy was on his, I think it's a 2015 or 2016 Triumph Scrambler. His dad, Hal, was on a late 2000s Versys 650. And Derek was on a 96 Fat Boy.
Okay, that's a variety pack of motorcycles.
Did
anyone else trailer?
Almost all of us.
Oh, okay. So you trailer the bikes to Cheticamp, and then you spent the weekend on the trail?
We got there Thursday, and we just ripped around all day Friday. We ripped around all day Saturday, and then we came home Sunday.
What size engine is your bike?
535 cc's.
535. So tell me this. Was that not like the perfect size engine for riding the Cabot Trail?
It was fantastic. Like it had no problems anywhere. The only problem ever was that like I needed to always be at the back because otherwise people were waiting to get ahead of me, or they were annoyed by how loud I was.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, so
I'm just laying that out in my mind, like, okay, we're gonna take like the smaller engine. I guess yours was probably the smallest engine, and then you said there was like a 650 or something?
Yeah, but it's a twin, so it works better.
Okay. So in my mind, I just want you to be setting the pace like so badly. But I guess if your bike like is loud and everyone is there, maybe gonna do a little horsing around. Like, okay, maybe they're gonna stuff you at the back.
Yeah. No, I like being the sweep position anyway. I kind of like knowing where everyone is and knowing that we didn't leave anyone behind. So I'm happier being towards the back. And the first day they were leaving me behind a lot because I was still kind of getting my groove back after low siding last year while I was wearing a t-shirt. So for the last year or so, every left-hand turn has been frightening.
Yeah, okay.
And after I got that out of my system, partway through the first day, at the second day, they stopped leaving me behind so much.
So was it strategic when you went this year then and you stayed in Cheticamp? Like, did you guys do the trail then clockwise?
We do it both ways.
Okay.
So when we got there Friday night, we got in Cheticamp around like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So we just jumped on the bikes and went partway over the top and then partway back. And then into Cheticamp to have supper that night.
Okay.
The Doryman was packed, but
yeah.
we had tickets for cheap beer from the hotel we were staying at. They had some kind of deal going.
Yeah.
So, the choice was made for us for where to eat. And then the next day, we went up to meet Cove and back down. And then we went over to, I think we made it partway through up past Ingonish and then came back in and went counterclockwise. So we do a lot of stuff over the top.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the Saturday, that was the day we went down to Port Hood. And then we did the full loop that day.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just wondered if
Yeah.
maybe you did it clockwise to get a little bit comfortable because strategically you're going to be doing a lot more right. I mean, I know you're making some left turns, but you're hugging the mountain on the inside there too.
No, there was no strategy there at all. It was just how it played out.
Okay.
It was an amazing time.
See, we go and we never spend enough time just fucking around on the Cabot Trail. We go, we ride there, we rip around the trail, and we ride back. And we there was maybe 1 year. No, that's wrong. I guess there was 2 years we stayed on the Cabot Trail, but we don't ever have enough time or allow ourselves the time to just rip back and forth on certain areas that you'd love to do more than once a year.
Yeah.
We never do that. But that's because my family's there, so kind of have those those obligations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
different.
Family always getting in the way.
They probably wish that we didn't make 80% of our trip being about motorcycles on the Cabot Trail. That's how it is, though.
Yeah. Oh man, the trek between the Cabot Trail, Englishtown Ferry, and Sydney, is the most grueling part of any trip. It's so brutal.
Worse than between Truro and Halifax?
Oh no.
Touche.
I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I tried to zone out.
That is easily the most boring stretch of anything, and that's why I end up having such low kilometers in most of my riding seasons. Is I would love to take it back and forth to work, because going from the valley to Halifax where I work, if you go along the number one and you do some stuff, if you do what is it? Is it Bogmarsh Road that goes over the Freddie Wilson? I think that's what it is. The Bogmarsh Road and some spots around Falmouth, Windsor. There's some gorgeous roads to be on, but it would take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to work if I did that.
Aww.
See, what you should do is trailer your bike to work, take your bike home, and then you could split the difference the next day.
Yeah.
half the days you're traveling with a trailer, and half the days you're traveling on the motorcycle. And then that gives you a little more options. If the weather's looking slimy, you can
Yeah, because that never happens in Nova Scotia.
No.
Slimy weather.
Yeah. It's been 70% of the summer has been slimy weather.
Distinguished Gentleman's Ride.
Right.
You've been doing it since 2015? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the math.
That's a long time.
It's been a few years, yeah. I think next year is year 10.
Is it in Halifax? The one that you're in?
I did Halifax every year up until 2019.
Yeah.
And then the first 2 years of COVID, they had different rules for how to do the ride. So I think the first year there was nothing organized because it would have been May of 2020 and they still weren't sure what to do about anything. So there were no organized rides, but if you wanted to go ride with a friend, so I rode with my friend Jimmy, who I mentioned earlier, who's got the Triumphs in my garage.
Yep.
We went and we just did a couple of roads around back Nova Scotia. And then 21, it was ride alone together. So it was just all solo.
Oh.
And then last year, someone started one up in Berwick, just to the next couple of towns down from me in the valley. And that's been really nice because now I don't have to get up stupid early and ride for a couple 100 kilometers in a suit.
Right. And I think as far as I know, there is no ride here in PEI. The closest one for us would be Moncton. So it'd be the same thing. It'd be riding for a few hours in the morning in a suit.
Yeah.
And
Don't recommend.
Isn't it always during a really cold time? When is it?
It's so they changed it a couple of years ago. It used to be always towards the middle end of September, and there were some really cold rides. But they flipped it. I think it's because the people running the DGR partnered up with the Movember people.
Okay.
And all their stuff is in November.
Yeah.
So they moved it to the spring, which works out really well for North American rides. I don't know
Okay.
how the Australian people who started it feel about it,
Right.
but works out pretty decent for us. And then last year they started trying to do this distinguished gentleman's drive as well, trying to get like people out in suits wearing driving vintage cars, and like I don't know what that's supposed to be, but
Oh,
Oh, weird.
okay.
yeah.
Whoa.
What's the point of having a suit if you're going to be in a car?
Okay, so how many people are in these rides? How many people in these group rides usually?
I think the first one I went to in Halifax was pretty huge. Halifax can get like 25, 30 people,
Okay.
maybe more.
Yeah.
But the people like the last couple of years I was there, I think what is it? Is it Kira and Jody and Danielle who do the moto social stuff on Halifax?
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of tuning up the guy who was organizing the DGR, saying you really need to know how to use social media to get people to show up to these things.
Right.
So I don't know the last couple of years if Halifax has gotten bigger, but I think we had 8 or 10 at the last the Valley one.
Cool. And do you like group rides?
With the right group, it's pretty okay. But I think you really got to have the right crew. Like the people I went to the Cabot Trail with, I would ride with those people anywhere. But I don't know. I feel like I genuinely prefer solo rides or like me and one or two other people as opposed to group rides.
Yeah, I feel like does anyone like group rides? Like you only like your own group, right?
People really like group parking.
Group parking
Yeah.
at Tim Hortons.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would argue like I'll just say it. I was heavily involved with the Litas and and just like you said, it's like you got to have the right group and like that kind of was like a weird mix of like new riders, older riders, cocky riders, So it was like you could have a good ride if only 3 of you showed up and you're usually riding together. But like those times that like 10 people would show up and it would be like not fun and like really unsafe.
Yep.
Not a fan of unsafe.
No, I feel like just being on the bike, there's already enough unsafeness. You don't need to add, any more than the minimum amount of stupid.
Yeah. And like I have no problem riding with new riders. I think like there's a lot of opportunity there to teach them bad habits. But yeah, like it's not about like really like what exactly how long you've been riding, but like do you have any confidence and like are you solid?
Yeah, and it's never the new riders that are ruining a ride.
Yeah.
Like it's always the person who has been riding dirt bikes since they were 3 but never got their license until they were 30 and like
Yeah.
Anyway, we just had a really good group ride and I like having that feeling still inside my heart where we just had like a group ride, 9 motorcycles, everyone could ride like just so well. And there was
that the Queers on Gears thing?
Yeah, it was. Queer Ride and Meetup. It was like and it was like such a mix of people, but like everyone rode so well. There was like absolutely nothing sketchy that happened. And I can't tell you the last time that I experienced that in a group ride.
Not with that many
bikes. That's
bikes.
awesome.
Yeah, not with like 9 bikes.
Many. So tell us a motorcycle story. It doesn't have to be a crash story, but just tell us a story.
It probably is going to end up being a crash story because my crash stories are usually more entertaining.
Yeah.
This would have been like 2 or 3 weeks after I'd done the motorcycle safety course. So I was on my dad's 84 450 Nighthawk, which is a twin and nice, just kind of a standard bike. And I was bombing along McGregor Avenue in Stellarton, which is kind of like right along where the mines or the pit mines are still digging, and some baseball fields and stuff like that. And as I come along the road, there are 2 deer, one on the right side, one on the left side. And I slow down because I know there's something stupid about to happen. And as I creep up on them, eventually the one on the right just kind of buggers off down the road. And the fellow on the left side just runs right directly into my forks and takes me out.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Just ran directly into me, knocked me down, bent the indicator. Yeah. So that was my first crash.
Okay. What speed are we talking here?
I would have guessed by the time they ran into me, I might have only been going 40, 50 kilometers an hour.
Okay, well that's still pretty good.
And then how fast was the deer going?
I don't know.
100.
Fast enough to ruin my night.
Oh my god. Fucking ran right into you. This was like right after you started riding. So did you get in trouble with your dad?
No, he was actually super chill about it. He'd been riding motorcycles, like he was riding them when he was in high school in the 70s on little CBs. And he was not mad about it at all, because the great thing about a 450 Nighthawk is that like you pick one up for $2,000 and that's what it's worth forever, as long as it starts and you don't lose the paper.
Yeah.
Right? They've just completely bottomed out in value. So yeah, and the only thing that we had to do, like I didn't even bend the shifter peg. It was just the indicator that, was like 6 inches out past the end of the headlight.
Yeah.
So that got bent. So he took it over to the college where he worked and had the automotive guy straighten out the ear for him, and away we went. It wasn't too bad.
It's funny they don't teach you that stuff on the safety course. Like they teach you like, how to drive over a tire on the road and how to like maneuver these crazy turns. They don't really tell you what to do when a deer runs at you.
Yeah, there weren't good options.
Like what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. This time when we did the Cabot Trail, we were coming along the top of, I'm still learning all the mountains, but the big flat spot when you're going counterclockwise just after Shetty Camp. As we were coming along, we could see a massive moose on the opposite side of the road. So we all just stopped about 1 kilometer away from the moose and just waited for him to figure out what he was doing.
Yeah, that seems like a logical thing to do.
Well, I figure like
we never see moose on the Cabot Trail. I mean, that's probably a great thing, but we never see moose.
We saw one the first year I was there around the same spot, and we saw one this year, and otherwise it's been animal free.
Yeah, you want to see them, but like you don't really want to see them on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So you crash a lot.
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to think. So there was the deer, and there's been a couple of times I've had one rain wipeout that I get on the same Nighthawk. I wiped out on the gravel going one way on the Enfield. And then last year, I think we finally solved the mystery of how I crashed last year with that low side and the t-shirt. I think what I actually did, and all my crashes have been stupid things that I shouldn't have done. I left the kickstand down, I think, and I tried to make a left turn, and that didn't go well.
So was there no safety switch?
So fun story about Enfields. The safety switches are notorious for just getting shitty and like starting to falter the engine on you. So I deleted my safety switch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
An actual good mechanic probably wouldn't have done that. They would have replaced it with a working switch.
I was gonna say, usually the problem with the switches is they get stuck so that your bike will never start again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to that. It's more or less I'd be burbling along wide open throttle, and it would start cutting out and hesitating.
Oh, it sucks.
I mean, I'm guilty as charged. I do the same thing on most of my bikes. I take the safety switches off.
Yeah.
On the Shadow, for instance, there is a fuel shut-off switch that was giving me problem. So I took the whole thing out. So basically, if I had have crashed the bike, actually I did crash the bike, but the fuel pump would never shut off. So technically, if I were on fire or something, the fuel pump would continue to shoot out fuel as long as the key was turned on. So the bike didn't have to be running for the fuel pump to work.
Oh my God.
So just don't crash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had to get rid of it yet, but the Enfield has some kind of like orientation switch on it. So like if you lay it down, the engine cuts off.
Okay. Whoa.
Oh.
That's from the future.
Yeah, I know, right?
Futuristic.
So like if you were to take a turn like just way too sharp and lean it over, like it might kill your engine.
Well, I think they get away with that by it being an Enfield with 18 horsepower, so you really can't lean it over that
far. That's a good point. It's like built-in safety.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're not leaning this thing down.
No, but it's so stupid because like it comes with Brembos for the brakes and it's on Pirelli tires and it's got like a floating front disc and all this really good stuff, and then you can't do you are engine limited.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But like you must like it. Like you've had it for a long time.
Yep. Yeah, I've had it. I rode it out of the showroom new. It was it has been a lot of fun, and it's just, I don't know, it's like having like a really stupid dog. Like, you just you laugh at like the most ridiculous things. Like our dog, I don't know what's wrong with his eyes, but he can't find his ball if he drops it and it's not moving anymore. He has a hard time finding it. And it's the most pathetic thing to watch him desperately hunting and like throwing his jaws down trying to grab the ball that isn't there when it's directly behind his paws. And I feel a lot the same way about the Enfield. It's just it's the loudest, dumbest thing, but it's just so fun.
I actually love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you said that you guys like went to Meat Cove. So I assume like like it handles well on like dirt road and shit.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems with it.
Like do you take it on dirt roads?
If where I want to go is down a dirt road, we're going.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first year we were up to Cabot, the quarry pond thing just outside of Shedicamp there, or inside Shedicamp?
Not by that name, no.
What?
Okay.
No, what?
It's like maybe Gypsum Mines.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I took it down the road to go to that. I got a picture of it, like right next to the pond.
Yeah.
So I'll go anywhere on that thing.
Well, I guess if you're taking it slow.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I got any kind of trail tire or any real traction on it, right? Like it's meant to be a street bike, but it's also it's Indian, like from India, and they don't, the roads there are what they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the heritage of this thing to go stupid places.
Oh, I love that. Okay, but why did you pick yellow?
Because have you seen pictures of it?
Yeah.
That yellow is amazing. It gets compliments everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you've got this like rinky-dinky motorcycle with no power. But do you have like beefcakes coming up to you and being like, wow, what a cool bike, man?
Yes, absolutely. I have had a bunch of people ask me if it's a Norton.
Right.
People love to ask me how old it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it gets a lot of love because it's a small, dirty bike, and the longer I ride it and the more I crash it, the more dense it picks up.
So the more vintage it looks.
Yeah.
Like I know that they have like that. They are like a retro style, but the more I crash it, the more dinged up it gets. I assume, I mean, I know that they also have like limited color and stuff that they even use. Like Royal Enfield.
Yeah. The year that I bought it, it was like when they launched that bike, it was red.
Okay.
That was the only color they made.
Okay.
And then I think the next year they added black, and the year I picked it up, it was you could have black or red or the yellow.
Okay.
And the yellow is just perfect on that bike. It just looks amazing, and it doesn't do anything quick, but it looks great. I don't know. And now they don't make that anymore because was it 2018, 2019 they came out with the 650 twin?
Right.
And they still make the bullets with the 500 engine, but the punched out Continental engine, and the Continental is now the 650 twin, so they don't make this one anymore.
Okay. So how much of a pain in the ass is it for like you don't have a dealer there anymore? If you need to like get parts and shit, I assume you're just ordering them online?
Yep. It's either universal stuff that I get from an online dealer, or I've tried to talk to dealers in Ontario and Quebec with some success. Mostly if I just want to order it from someone and know that it's going to arrive here and be right and work, I'm usually ordering parts out of England.
Okay.
Which sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. So you know what fucking sucks?
What fucking sucks?
Bike names.
Bike names? Like naming your motorcycle?
Yeah, I don't mean like Suzuki Intruder. I mean, that sucks too, but no, like this is my bike. It's literally a red V-Star named Crimson. My old bike, whose name was Ruby, was a red Kawasaki.
But wait, we name our bikes.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks.
I guess
like the part that I hate is like you'll see people's like Instagram posts and they're like, I almost said Winston, which is totally Paterka's bike's name.
Yeah.
Just like, me and Winston out for a date. Like, okay. Like, okay. So, full disclosure, our bikes have had names.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it fucking sucks. And some people do it in a way suckier way than others.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting on board.
What's your bike's name?
My bike's name?
Yeah.
Stupid Honky.
Stupid Honky.
And you saying that sucks?
No, I think
that's a great name.
I think that's fucking great.
Yeah.
My bike is named Dad Bike. But our bikes are called Dad Bike, the Dad Bike, and Bike. Stupid Honky. It's not like being named like your bike's name's not Pearl.
Right.
Literally because it has like the pearl finish paint job or whatever fucking shit.
But it is Stupid Honky because it's pure white.
And I do ride the motorcycle of a dad.
Yeah.
But even before that, my last bike, I called it the Broomstick. The bike before that was like David. I think.
My bike now is Stupid Honky.
Yeah.
And then prior to that, the Shadow was Sucks Cycle.
And then
the Sucks Cycle.
And you had Sammy?
Sammy was the Virago. But that was different because Sammy was not the actual bike. Sammy was the eagle.
The eagle on the fender.
It was the eagle with the light up eyes on the front fender.
Called Sam.
That was Sammy. That's different.
So you just don't think that it's stupid when people are like, oh, I'm thinking about getting Cassandra out of the garage for the weekend and we're gonna go out and spend the day together. Like, what the fuck, man? That is so uncool.
Here's what's stupid about it. It's stupid if people expect you to remember their bike's names and then they talk about their bike as if you know who the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, like it's a character.
Yeah. It's like someone naming all their plants or every single one of their chickens.
Yeah, people do.
I have no fucking clue what chicken you're talking about, and I have no clue what your plant is. Like, just because you name all 45 plants in your house doesn't mean I don't gotta remember all those.
I feel very attacked. Okay, first of all, I don't name my plants. And I have 3 pet chickens, and they have names.
Yes.
And you can't tell the twins apart.
No, I cannot. Absolutely.
But I can.
Twin chickens.
twin chickens.
Yeah, I cannot tell the twin chickens apart. But like, people name their shit. They name their dolls and whatever, and stuff like that. Like, it's fine. It's like a personal thing. But like, it's only sucky and annoying whenever they're talking to you about this third entity that doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah.
Like it should matter, and it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, the other part of this, I guess, like, I'm not going to dig deep into this, and I didn't think about this, but it's also like when people assign gender to like objects. Mm-hmm. So like, of course, motorcycles are like girls. Mm-hmm. Like they're women, right? The curves, the sexual women.
Stupid honky is pretty gender non-specific.
Yeah, dad bike is not very gender neutral, but not super specific.
No.
I've known lots of daddy girls. But anyway.
Even Sammy's pretty
it's gender neutral.
Sammy's.
But it's the same thing. It's like they literally treat their motorcycle like it's their mistress. Because it's replacing their wife, usually.
Yeah.
It's their mistress, and then she has, like, some lady's name, usually.
But, like, that goes back to, like, naming fucking boats and airplanes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know the history of, like, why it's always fucking women. Because, like, women were not allowed on boats. But they named the boat after someone's, like, mistress. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it comes down from naming after like horses and shit, which horses actually have like a personality. Like, it's kind of stealing from that.
Well, it's a living thing.
Yeah.
Boats and motorcycles are not really living things.
Yeah. Like horses know their name.
Yeah. Chickens know their name.
Chickens know their name. Like they're animals and things. But it's like, did we just take that from like horses and then start naming our fucking automobiles?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't think boats have license plates. They have names. We have license plates. So like technically like that is the name of our motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like it's already named. If you got a plate, if it's registered.
Yeah.
That is the name. So sometimes like you do a fucking sucks and you're like, it's a major hit. Sometimes you do a fucking sucks and it's like a debate, and that's all right.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, and I mean it sucks, but I still do it anyway. So
I think
whatever.
I think anyone listening to this podcast and everybody who doesn't listen to this podcast who has a motorcycle fucking named their bike.
Do you know how many people have a bike that's just named Harley?
No.
Because they're riding the Harley. Doesn't matter what make, model, doesn't matter what color. It doesn't matter if they had 12 different Harleys in the last 12 years. They're just always going out to the Harley.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not even a specific name to that motorcycle, I guess.
Yeah. Like, what if they named every single one, though? Like 12 names in 12 years?
Well, how many motorcycles have you had?
Bazillion.
And they all had names.
I think most of them. I don't know what the Kawasaki was called.
Jaeger cycle.
No, my Kawasaki.
Oh, that one.
Don't remember.
I'm sure you gave it a name.
I can't think of it.
We'll see what people have to say about that.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to be like, no, you got to name your bike, because they're probably going to insert some like fucking motorcycle lore. Like if you don't have a name, just like you don't have a gremlin bell, you're going to crash and die.
LL Cool J? What if he was like LL Chill J? Not as cool.
Ian J Cool J?
Ian J Cool J. Ian LL Cool J.
I'd like to welcome to the show Ian LL Cool J.
Yeah, item 1, the story Ian told. Item 2, the dumbest possible thing to call your bike.
I honestly, I mean, it's up there, but I was being so generous about that. Yeah, because Sydney's the worst.
Yeah, but no one tried to burn down PEI.
No, that's true.
I'm thinking like Jackhammer in the Highlands. or like
camera in the Highlands. Yeah. You're not supposed to show up in a Versa.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh shit! I'm just trying to clap back a little after all the shots you're taking about the trailer. It's so weird from a certain sense because I've been listening since like I want to guess episode 6 or 10.
Whoa!
And so through COVID to now, you've been like these constant voices from my car stereo, just like bombing back and forth to work, and it's cool to finally get to talk to you.
Yeah, I think you might be one of possibly 2 people in the world that have ever listened to all of the episodes
that far back,
and especially that far back.
No, I don't refer to it as my other girlfriend. Like there's nothing like I don't tell my daughters that they have I'm gonna go spend time with your sister. No, it's not that. It's just
that's gonna go
coffee mania. Coconut oil me up, baby.
Oh, you're not gonna like me anymore.
That's why I was like a yellow bike. Oh, this is gonna be good.
This is gonna be good. What is it?
No, it's not good at all. River.
What?
River.
Yeah.
River. Yeah. You didn't even want to call it like Kill a Bee?
Kill a Bee.
No, that'd be stupid, but not as stupid.
What about it? Could have been the mellow yellow.
The mellow yellow.
It's chill, right?
It could have been the lemon.
Could have been
lemon.
No.
Could have been sunshine.
No. Could have been Ian Coolin on the mellow yellow.
No,
right?
No, there's nothing good about that name. No.
So wait, River.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, it's just like a tattoo. You got to tell us why. Why did you choose it? What's the significance?
So it's only going to get lamer and dorkier as we talk about it. Like this is going to make the trailer thing seem like super cool and awesome. So I realized like around the time that I didn't have a name for it at first. The name came later. But I had this notion shortly after I got it that I realized the XS650 engine is almost the exact same size and shape as the 535 engine.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have this long-term crazy notion of shoehorning in the XS650 engine because of like the vintage thing with the Tritons where you take the Triumph engine and you stuff it into the Norton frame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I got this dream of stuffing it in there. So I named the bike after the character River Tam on the show Firefly.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because she kind of got lobotomized and then all of a sudden she could kick everybody's ass. So I figured if the Enfield suddenly had an engine that could put 45 horsepower into the asphalt, it'd kick a lot of ass.
Wow.
That is. Do you have to explain that to everyone you tell the name to, or do they just accept it for what it is?
They figure most people just have the courtesy to hear something that stupid as a name and just like slowly back away. The bike has a name and the name is River and we just move on with our lives. Okay, awesome. I'll just go down the garage. I'll start it up and I'll blip it a couple of times and you also can appreciate the loudest, dumbest thing.